Morning, Conor. Just how much are you looking forward to for you and your players to test yourself against Premier League opposition?
Yeah, really exciting game. Really exciting game for myself, for the squad, for the club. A game that we're really looking forward to. Obviously, like you said, testing ourselves against a really exciting squad who can play at a really high level. So yeah, it's one that we're really looking forward to the challenge. Really.
Does their kind of approach and selections against Oxford give you a bit of an insight into what you might be able to expect? Because being the League Cup, you'd expect that there might be a few changes to their Premier League team.
Yeah, potentially. I think analysing that Oxford game a little bit over the last few days, the transfer window was still open then, so a few of the players that were playing in that game are now gone. So will it be similar to that Oxford side? A little bit different through circumstances, more of transfer window rather than anything else. So yeah, it will be. There'll be probably a couple of players, of course, that played in an Oxford game, but will it be a similar team? We'll probably have to wait that little bit more in terms of getting that team sheet ready when it comes in.
Gives you a good sign of where their heads at with regards to the competition, though, doesn't it? The fact that they went and put six past a championship side.
Yeah, obviously, look, like you said, analysing and watching that game back, obviously they had a convincing win, but there was, if you watch the game from start to finish, Oxford had a lot of chances in the game. They had a decent couple of occasions in terms of chances created. So yeah, it's something that we've been looking at and analysing, and hopefully we can come up with similar scenarios come Tuesday night.
How impressed have you been with Brighton as a club for what they've managed to do over the last 10, 15 years or so?
Yeah, it's terrific. I think the way the football clubs ran, recruitment, managers, they don't get many wrong at all in terms of recruitment and managers. So it's a very exciting club. They've done it correctly over the last, like you said, number of years now. Where they were kind of 15 years ago to where they are now is pretty exceptional, and something that a lot of the clubs down the ladder need to look at in terms of their model and their way and how they went about their business to go and kind of give everyone hope to what you can achieve if you go about your business in a really structured and consistent way.
It's a good point, that, to be honest, Conor, because the gap between the very top of the pyramid and the bottom seems to grow and grow and grow. But the fact that Brighton have managed to get themselves from the bottom reaches of the fourth tier up to competing for honours in Europe and all that kind of stuff, it does offer some hope to people that if you do things the right way, that you can make progress still.
Absolutely, yeah, I really think so. I think you look at it in terms of how they've gone about their way, recruitment, the bigger picture, staying consistent with it, because no doubt there was challenges along the way. Do we come away from it? Do we stick with it? Big decisions along the way that the plan that they made, that they stuck to their guns, and look at the rewards now they're getting off the back of it. So I think it gives everyone hope that it can be done. It can be done that way. I think Bournemouth's another scenario. I know obviously we're not playing Bournemouth, but I'm saying, Bournemouth's another club that have gone about it from League Two under Eddie Howe all the way to the Premier League, established, and look what they've created as a football club. So there is ways of doing it. There is hope there for clubs. But it's about creating that plan and really being consistent and sticking to it is probably the ultimate one that Bournemouth and Brighton particularly have gone about their way.
It's not very often that you're going to come up against a coach that's younger than you, Conor, by a couple of years as well. Smiling. How do you feel about that? This is certainly one for the young aspiring coaches. This much.
Yeah, it's really interesting actually. I think I got told a stat the other day is I might have fourth youngest maybe in the tier of EFL and Premier League potentially, and to come up against one of the other three is pretty good. Makes me feel old or young, whatever way you want to go about it. But no, look, really exciting. Head coach, obviously very talented. How he goes about his business and being recruited from Brighton. Another, astute pick up from them, doing their homework again in the right way. And it just shows that young head coaches can exceed and go and have a really good, exciting career no matter what their age at a really top level.
What do you feel are the advantages of being a younger head coach? Is it a case of maybe being a bit close to the players, closer to the modern game, Anything else from your perspective?
I think opportunity. I think is the first thing in terms of really grasping the opportunity that they get, because a lot of young head coaches don't get that opportunity. I think interaction and being close to young current modern players potentially is one. That's something that I definitely do here currently. Um, and then obviously look, having your way of playing and how you see the game, and you having your beliefs in terms of how you want to play and see the game and how you want your team to play, and an identity and stuff. So and being really clear on that. So yeah, look, there's many ways, but it's just great to see young coaches excel at a top level, because you go back to hope for clubs. Someone like me who's in League One, it gives me hope that being young doesn't matter. It's how you go about your business and about your way. And people like the Brighton manager, you can inspire to be like.
Clearly, you'll have been frustrated by the result of the weekend, Conor. But with 16 years since the club's made the fourth round of the cup, if you were able to win this week, it would be another sign of progress after a good start overall.
Yeah, look, it would be incredible, of course. We know we're up against it. There's no getting away from that. But will we hit it head on and want to win the game and go about it in the way that we want to go about it? Absolutely. People like I think hope is the big word in this press conference. You look at Grimsby and they give you hope. So why can't it be done? So yeah, look, I think it will be difficult. They'll have a real talented team out and they will be firm favourites, but we will go about it in the right way and analyse and pick holes where we feel we can pick holes, and you just never know what the result will be on the night.
Can we expect a similar approach from you and your team with this one, Conor, with a few changes, but also some minutes for the players that have been playing in the league as well?
Yeah, I think there will be a firm mix. I think it's a good opportunity to give lads minutes that they may have not had minutes in the league. I think the team has changed a little bit in the cup run so far against Fleetwood, against Rotherham, and I think a lot of them lads deserve to play this game now as well. So credit to them boys. It would be a little bit unfair of me if I just kind of kept the strongest team possible from the league, and they are now on the bench again for this game. They've earned the right to play this game, so I think it's only right that a lot of them lads get minutes as well tomorrow night.
Patrick Kelly, any closer to a return?
No, this game will be a little bit too soon for him, but we're hoping to have Pat in it, back in involvement for the weekend.
Any other kind of issues? Anybody else missing that we wouldn't expect?
No, all good from that point of view, Ox. Everyone's come through Blackpool unscathed, which is good.
Good man. Thank you very much, Conor.
Cheers.
Conor, whoever does play for Brighton is good. They're going to have sort of probably internationals and players who played in the Premier League, big money signings. So, as you sort of alluded to, great experience for your sort of young learning players.
Yeah, it's going to be brilliant. To have that, to have that team come here at Oakwell, and have our players the exposure playing against top level players. Whatever team that they put out, they'll be really talented footballers. But it's one that the lads should be really excited about, and understand and recognise that level of player that you can aspire to be to, and what it takes to get to that level. So I think it will be a real important test for our lads in many ways to see where their game is at compared to top level players.
We see you're unbeaten here. You haven't played a team like Brighton with respect to the other teams, but does that give you confidence that you don't want to lose that record no matter who it's against?
Yeah, of course, and we've had a good home, like I said, record so far. Obviously, like I said, it will be difficult, but we're going to give it our best go, and the lads will have that message from me in terms of we're going to give it our absolute best go, and let's go for it and see how we come out from it. And if we hit it head on and go about it in the right way, you just never know.
You obviously mentioned you're going to give the players who are playing in the cup a bit of a chance. Is it also that no matter who you're playing in this cup, obviously the league is the priority, and you've sort of got a settled team there?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's only right for a similar team to Fleetwood and Rotherham to be out on the pitch, and they've earned it too. They've put in some good performances when the league players currently have not played. Another opportunity for them to stake a claim and knock on their door. We've just and knock on my door with a good, exciting performance. We've just come off the back of a defeat against Blackpool. So if someone sticks their hand up against a very good opposition tomorrow night, you never know how quickly it can turn for them.
Obviously, Kayla Vickers is just a club, I guess, you can't play, but can you sort of, do you get any info from him, or do you just go on your own sort of analysis?
Yeah, no, I think a bit of both. I think, look, it would be wrong if we didn't ask him a question or two, but ultimately me and the coaching staff and the analyst team will be analysing that. We've already started that process, of course, and it's something that we can use, both ideas from in terms of Kayla and our own eyes as well.
Thank you. Yes.
Morning, Conor. We know you've got a lot of studying and working before you became a coach. Was Brighton one of the clubs that you looked at?
In terms of
just learning ideas about coaching and that sort of thing?
Not particularly in terms of the football club. I think they've had a couple of head coaches that I've been interested in. Obviously, Graham Potter and how he goes about his way. Has had a very, very interesting coaching journey. The Zerbi obviously, fascinated a lot of people in terms of his style and his way. So yeah, look, obviously they're a football club that don't go for the normal managers. So that brought interest from myself, of course. But in terms of me actually looking in at the football club, not so much. But they do have some interesting head coaches over the last 4 or 5 years that weren't the most experienced. So from that point of view, it's like I said, it's great for young head coaches to see that.
And I mean, obviously, at the weekend you came up against one of the most experienced coaches in the football league. That's very young, but he's got experiences that other League One coaches just don't have in terms of the countries he's worked in and that sort of thing. Are you one for picking other managers' brains on a match day, obviously after a game?
Yeah, a little bit. I tend to the biggest question I probably ask head coaches when they come into the room is, what did you see in us that you wanted to exploit? Where did you see a weakness? I like asking that question. Some of the opinions that you hear back, I tend to agree or not agree with it or whatever, you know what I mean? But I'm really intrigued to go, where did you see a weakness in our team? And see their answers. Some of them have come back and given me a little bit of, oh yeah, I can see that, or not so much in others. But that's the one question I do like to ask head coaches if I get the chance after a game, yeah.
And are they quite receptive? Or sometimes
No, they are. No, they are. They are. I think, without naming any names, I think one or two are younger, and you can ask them questions. I think Lee Grant had a good conversation. I don't mind that saying that afterwards, and what he saw on our team, or what I was asking him about individuals or and things like that. So it's an interesting time after a game, because emotions are high sometimes, and how you beat the opposition, or me at the weekend losing against Steve. So I think it's time and place. But if you feel like the energy is okay in the room, I think it's a good question that I like to ask. Yeah.
And as we know, last season a home draw, bit of a disadvantage, but this season the way you turn things around at Oakwell, does it almost feel like a bit of a reward, not just for the players but for the fans, the way they've contributed to?
Yeah, I think so. I think there was a big thing obviously about the home record and performance over the last couple of years, and I think, like I said, I've touched on before, we've put that firmly to bed. I think the lads are really, really enjoying now playing at home, which is great. And I know everyone wants a big tie away from home, but I think it's nice just to have a Premier League club come to Oakwell and just, show everyone what, this can be not the norm, but it can happen more often than not if we go about our business in the right way, which is nice to do at our home.
And you mentioned the word enjoyment. Has that been one of the big things, enjoying playing here rather than fear? Well, fearing is probably too strong a word, but not looking forward to it at least.
Yeah, I think enjoying coming to the stadium on match day, enjoying coming to work every day, enjoying the culture and environment that we're trying to create every single day. And I think that just spirals then into enjoying playing in front of the fans then on match day. So I think there's many things that has helped the home form and home performances, but I think the enjoyment of coming to work every single day is the key, really.
And is that the message tomorrow? As to mention, lots of people are going to be coming up against internationals and all this sort of thing, but that's what you play for, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. It's a really exciting game for the squad, for the team, for the club. Like I said, however many changes they make, it's going to be a real good one for players to test themselves and maybe get a little bit of an insight into, oh, that is that the level? Is that how good these players are? So I'm really interested to see how our players react before the game and definitely afterwards, because we all watch the Premier League. There's no getting away from it, and sometimes I hear players going, "Oh, that player was poor," and I think, hold on a second, that's Jesus. But anyway, so I really hope that we put a good account of ourselves, and one or two players may go, "Oh, is that the level that I need to work towards?" Because that would be nice as well, just to give them a little insight into the top players.
We've seen this cup season, especially the likes of Grimsby and Sheffield Wednesday, causing shocks. Does that show that games like these aren't foregone conclusions? Shocks can happen, and that you can pull off a result.
Yeah, exactly that. If you don't go into it with the right, mindset and analysing and giving the lads the right energy and belief to go on and get a result, then what's the point turning up? And it can happen. Freak results can happen, and we'll be looking to get the right result on the night. Like you just said, Grimsby have had a couple of great results in terms of being up against it and being the underdogs. So why can't we do it as well?